Their top laners, and blue side banning those contested champions right away means they're not really hurting LoLPro's champion pools.
No, they aren't. And we see the Yasuo ban coming out here up against Laud, and they actually lead Nidalee up, which has been banned against Rux over and over again. But the Ziggs is definitely going to make it through here. Both of them love that champion.
Well, Nidalee was banned against, I believe, Hanser as well for most of this tournament, so an interesting contested pick to see maybe come through here. The Ziggs first pick, though, Coast obviously knew what was in store for them. Looks like Nidalee not something they care about. The immediate Zilean and Kha'Zix lock-in. These guys have done their research. Look at those smiles.
They're having a ball
on the LoLPro faces. They're like, I can't believe we just got this.
Well, I don't know. I think they're just on the stage. They're ready to go. They're having fun. It is game one, and they're fighting for their tournament lives here, but those are just smiles. They're having a good time while they're doing it.
That's already a good thing to see, right? Bouncing back from a loss and being happy is a good place to be at. You're seeing more grim determination on the Coast faces.
A little more serious on this side. They already have the Ziggs for Golden Glue. Golden Glue didn't have the greatest performances yesterday when he whipped out the Orianna and the Syndra. He ended up with about a 2.14 KDA for himself in the mid lane in those two losses, and he really did just get outplayed by Slushie. Slushie was a bigger factor, exactly, thank you, in the entire game. He did a lot more damage. He was able to AoE wave clear and just keep the pressure on.
Well, speaking of keeping pressure on, though, top lane Nidalee grabbed now for Rux. He's honestly one of the scariest top laners in the challenger scene, and you got probably the scariest lane bully as well. I'm expecting very big things from Rux this game. Mash also getting Lucian for himself, so he'll be able to be a playmaker on top of that.
Yeah, they'll most likely pair it with an aggressive jungler here so that we can have Rux on Coast get snowballing very quickly, because when Nidalee gets ahead, she just wants to stay ahead and keep you down. Against somebody like Ryze, I would definitely expect that, but they're going to go with a control jungler here to make sure that there aren't any ganks from LoLPro to the top lane.
Well, that can work pretty well, though, especially if they can unlock Golden Glue to roam up there, just putting the pressure down. And again, if Nidalee can just get some damage out there, Nunu can take the turret, they can dive anyway. I wouldn't be surprised to see those real ganks come out from Santorin up there. Of course, these picks goes through so quickly. We're seeing LoLPro with their Rise, as you mentioned, the Corki down there as well, so lane bullies on both sides. And now we need a most likely mid laner for LoLPro.
Yeah, no Kog'Maw coming out here, no hyper carry for either team. And I want to touch on the Nunu once again for Santorin, because he played that yesterday, and he got counter jungled early, and he wasn't a factor in the game.
Oh, look at this, though. LoLPro running, I guess you could call it a lane swap, though. It's actually going to be Rise mid with Mundo top lane here. Hanser's Mundo has been very good so far in the Challenger Series, so I like him on this a whole bunch. He's had great teleport timings overall. And just honestly a whole crap ton of damage and a very tanky lineup for LoLPro.
Yeah, and the games that we saw Hanser actually carry on were off of Mundo. And LoLPro, they lost a set yesterday to Curse Academy, and a big factor in that was Chris when he had Mundo top, and they didn't run an Ignite against him. And now we do see Nami with an Ignite on the side of Team Coast.
Well, I think it's a very smart choice, and also Nami and Lucian, just such a good duo lane in general. It'll be fun to see how that fight really does go back and forth. I think Nami also, by the way, very good against Zilean support, so I think LoLPro's bot lane's backs are kind of against the wall here. I expect it to go very well for Mash and Sheep, and we'll have to see as we get ourselves into the game. As this match begins, let's check out who you guys at home think is going to win. And according to LoLesports.com, 52% of you say that Team Coast will take the series, so pretty close.
Yeah, now that Champ Select is over, let us know if you still agree. Vote who you think will win this series by tweeting at LoLesports with either hashtag CST win or hashtag PRO win. We'll check your votes in just a bit.
Let's get ourselves into the game. Quick, what's your prediction? Is it going to switch in LoLPro's favor after seeing Champ Select?
I don't know. Coast is a pretty popular team with the star power they have from former LCS players, so I think they have a little more sway on the Twitter sphere.
All right, over-under on 65%. Hurry. You know he did at the beginning of the game.
Under. I'll put under.
Under 65%
yeah, under
for
65.
For Coast is your prediction here. That fans can still vote for Coast, but we're going to stop to see. Getting ourselves into the game here. Game 1 of potentially 5 here in Los Angeles, California. And Team Coast want this spot. They were the favorites pretty much all of the Challenger Series. They had only dropped one game until yesterday. Now, have they rebounded from a 0-2 defeat in the semifinals? LoLPro, they thought, well, we're the 3rd seed coming in. Maybe they deserve this spot, but now they're up against one of their toughest opponents ever. And they've got to win this BO5 if they want to make the promo tournament.
Yeah, and they do have to make some adjustments here for both teams. You know, they're coming off of losses in the previous round. Santorin, he's going to go back to the Nunu here. He's going to make sure he doesn't get invaded early, because that was just the complete and utter downfall of the Nunu from the early game to the mid game and transition to the late game where he did miss a consume smite on a dragon. So, you know, he's been pretty hard on himself the last day. trying to recover from that.
Well, I was actually spending... Sorry, finish yours.
No, go ahead. I was going to say he's going to give it another go.
Yeah, he is. And I was actually spending most of the morning with Koobs here, who I believe will be doing some analyst desk work for us later on. But I was talking to him about the bowl of poop, bowl of whipped cream analogy. He was
That's all he's
earlier.
known for now.
That is literally the only thing he is known
walked up
for
to me
now.
like, yeah, you know what I'm famous for? Bowl of poop.
Yes, it is. But he was saying that there's a lot of players who need that bowl of poop in North America, and a lot of players who need the whipped cream. And Santorin, you talk about him being a very... self-demanding player.
I think he kind of just gives himself a bowl of poop.
Yeah, so he needs a bowl of whipped cream to balance it out. That's basically what I'm saying,
Okay.
right? Like, if Coast tilts, they're going to need some whipped cream to keep themselves in this.
Just put some whipped cream on top of the poop.
That still wouldn't be tasty. No, that I would not go for that.
It's not tasty. This is about taste. Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't just eat it in general. Haunts are going to eat up some of these traps, though. They are not cupcakes. Wrong kind of traps, so... Unfortunately, he's still hungry here. Hauntzer's going to make his way down, though, for the blue buff invade.
Well, they saw what happened when Coast got invaded on the Nunu, so they're going to try to replicate that. And Santorin, he's going to have to start at his red buff as a Nunu.
Interesting. But they do have themselves, honestly, in a pretty decent spot there. They've got their dual lane down in the bot lane for Team Coast, uncontested. So the blue buff that he's going to grab later on should be fairly safe. The only downfall might be that Heaven Time could maybe contest him here. A quick 2-buff start for LoLPro, but by this point they realize there's a dual lane in the bot lane that should guarantee the 2-buff start for both sides.
Yeah, but here's the thing, is that Heaven Time is not going to have a 2-buff start for himself.
True.
So he isn't going to be able to hit level 3 as quickly as Santorin is.
That could be a bit of a risk here. Santorin and Ruck's still going to do the double jungle. Heaven Time now does have the red buff, but no extra mana regen. Meanwhile, we did have Haunser taking a little bit of time. Looks like he did get level 2 for himself.
Yeah, he got it off of that blue buff that they picked up, and they're just pushing the top lane. It is going to be Patoy backing, possibly to just hold that bot lane, because they are expecting the 4-man push.
Well, Haunser's about to see that Rux and Santorin are trying to take this camp down. Good smite going to grab the white here, but he's in a bit of a 1v4 down on the side of the map as Zilean finally finished his recall and his trek down. The question is, can Haunser soak up this XP under the turret without getting dived?
Yeah, I don't know. He's going to have to clear out another camp before he does, just like Rux is spending some time roaming before he goes to that top lane, because he couldn't really have a big impact or soak up this experience at this point in the game. There is a little bit of a window left.
We'll see what the guys do with this window. I know you like to... Oh, 79%. I'll win. I'm off to a good start here today.
Yeah, you are.
Gold and blue.
Keep going down.
That's fine.
#pro win.
No, we're good. We're good. Guys, don't vote anymore for LoLPro. I want to win this duel here. In the caster desk, featured matchup, Zyrene versus Freak, and Freak is up 1-0 already. Haunser and Patoy now into the duo lane versus this Lucian and Nami duo. So, we talked about the bot lane being a featured matchup. We do not expect Zignature to get replaced by Haunser.
Yeah. I mean, LoLPro has had a lot of changes in the bot lane this entire season.
That's true.
Started off with Stomp, low. Then they also had Heartbeat in for a bit. Patoy tried his hand at AD carry.
Yep.
Why can't Haunser be there too?
And now we just need Heaven Time to show up for a gank, and then every single member on LoLPro has played bottom lane within the last, 4 months.
That is true. Lod swapping to the mid lane, but it's the best thing that's ever happened to LoLPro.
That's true. Lod has been actually great. I actually ran into him earlier today, and I said, so yeah, actually it was Yellow Pete who asked him, who was in the building today. He said, so yeah, how's that AD carry to mid lane transition going for you? And Lod said, well, actually I don't think there's any really good mid laners in North America, so I decided I'd fill the shoes.
I wonder why Yellow Pete asked him, is he looking to play mid lane?
Oh man.
AP Kog'Maw?
Actually, Yellow Pete said he didn't even like AP Kog'Maw. Man, it was so annoying to play against. So maybe not so much for him, but AD Kog'Maw, why not? Pull it out here. He was ahead of the time. Beat me all along.
Santorin on the bottom side of the jungle right now. Now, Santorin, he likes to invade, but he hasn't been doing that too much on Nunu. I mean, there is a lane swap in the early game, so he can't.
Not really, no. Golden Glue, they're taking a whole bunch of damage with this mid lane rise. Looks like CS going pretty equal between the two. Match present for the trade up Patoy, because here comes everybody else. Good damage coming out from the Nunu, and that is a flash forced away by Zilean. Really aggression working here.
Sheep ended up using his Aqua Prison into the fog of war in the bush, but Patoy was actually kind of in plain sight half a second later. He missed it, and that cost him the gank.
And actually, Sheep burned both summoners. So the gank was actually a loss of resources for Coast, but they will get this push into the turret, deny a couple CS away from the Mundo. And looks like Coast could free themselves up for a recall if they wanted it. If they want to match lanes a little bit differently here. It's one of the good things about Nunu. They're easy to push turrets down. They're just going to go for damage on this.
Yeah, they want the damage on that turret. They'll back off a little bit. In the mid lane, though, Golden Glue shoved the wave out and backed. But in the meantime, Heaven Time saw that Santorin was bot, went mid, helped Lod clear it out because he was out of mana. He's able to back and get those little spikes on Rise where he has some mana, to continue spamming spells and get more damage.
And so far, so good then. It's a 100 gold game right now. Going pretty equal. Rux getting that solo farm. And I do like the fact that LoLPro have swapped this, though, because they basically got around the fact that Nidalee's early lane is so darn strong and Mundo's isn't always so great. Yes, Haunter has a bit of a CS deficit against Nidalee, but not by what he would have had in a basic one-on-one lane here. So I gotta say, I'm happy with LoLPro's early game plays here, and they can keep scaling up.
They're gonna have some help scaling, too. They have the Kazakhs.
Yeah, true.
They have the Rise. They have the Mundo. Question is, can they keep Rux down? Can they keep him from snowballing?
Well, here's the thing, though. Santorin's already got his Sightstone in, so I expect Coast to have really, really good ward coverage for the next few minutes, and honestly, the entire game.
Yeah, you want to watch their objective control.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really called into question yesterday. They didn't get a single objective, Dragon or Baron.
Sure, but they've got double Sightstone and a Nunu. You got to expect Santorin should do a good job here. Almost level 5 onto him as the buffs start to respawn in the next 20 seconds here. And Golden Glue versus Lod really has not turned into much. Looks like Lod is right to be confident here in this matchup. Rise, of course, a very strong champion. And getting out of the laning phase is a good thing for him.
Here comes the invade from Santorin. He completed the Sightstone. He's putting wards down by the blue buff, so he will see where it is. He'll be able to invade onto Heaven Time, but he is down 2 levels right now. He has to clear this camp to get 5.
Wow, you're right. Level 4 versus level 6 here, and he's got to be a little bit careful. Does have some decent ward coverage, and of course, yes, these wards are free. Looks like he will get that big wolf, no big problem.
Get him level 5 off of it. He's actually maxing the consume first.
Oh, interesting. That's a build we don't see all that much, but Crumbs are doing it earlier today. Having time now. A bit of a duel is a level down. Ulti popped as well to get the extra stacks on the passive, forcing the flash away from Santorin. That counter jungling, not really worth it.
That's the thing, is Santorin's style is to invade you with things like Lee Sin or Elise and duel you, but Nunu isn't a good duelist. He kind of just steals your buff, party pooper Nunu, and walks away from you while laughing.
Well, unfortunately, the Bull of Party pretty safe, and now more important cooldowns gone for Coast.
Yeah, Golden Glue was standing on top of a ward too, so they were able to smite that and give it over at the right time.
Very well played then by LoLPro. Now, MASH gonna already have recalled back with the BF sword, so last thing in her turret should be fine. LoLPro, though, using their earlier recall to cash in for a dragon attempt. They are on top of a ward, though, but no one's around for Coast.
Exactly. They timed it off of the backs of Santorin and Golden Glue, and they shoved the bot lane out. Here's a Culling on top of it.
And it's gonna be grabbed up. Wow. Yeah,
there was no
Corki
smite.
getting the killing blow there. Culling nearly got it, but well done, LoLPro.
There was no smite available there because Heaven Time had to use it to avoid the Mega Inferno bomb steal.
In that case, maybe you just wait around and say, hey, you know what? Maybe we should wait 10 seconds and get the smite back up.
Just body block the Culling.
Or body block the Culling. Both very good options. And hey, it turned out to be okay for LoLPro there. Coast now going to get their own blue elf. Golden Glue grabs this. And we are back to a fairly equal game. Until you cash in on Dragon Gold, doesn't mean too much.
And look at this. We're going to see Santorin. He's going to go back.
Oh, another engage. The tidal wave is dodged there by Zillion. Ulti not available for Patoy, so a nice attempt there with the double ultimate
back
to make
the
a play.
It is.
Santorin's going to try.
Hasty Lizard.
Might not available, though Heaven Time grabs that very cleanly. Absolute Zero used the burst on the Heaven Time. There's the minefield. First blood to Golden Glue.
That's exactly what they set up for Coast. Golden Glue shoved the wave out and roamed, and Santorin was looking for that play on the blue buff, on the red buff. He just wants to harass you and make your life a living hell if you're jungling against him.
And what I really liked, though, was that Sightstone play working so well. Getting the vision control, making sure you could know where to go and get the invades going. Great job by Coast. You can see now Haunter in his battle with Rux. I feel like he's going to have a bad time with this Giant Spell.
Yeah, they're going to start pushing this turret down using the Blood Boil and the Primal Surge on Rux.
You can see how fast that is dropping, even though it's just a sheen there in the inventory, but it matters quite a bit there. Turret losing health faster and faster there. Coast, I like this from them compared to yesterday, playing a lot more of aggressive style, looking to make plays and just acquire advantages.
Yeah, Lod looking for the roam here, blowing his ultimate to clear out the wave.
But look at this from Lod, though. He's running through wards the entire time. There's no plays available because of Sightstone Nunu.
Both of these teams have obviously watched each other's games from yesterday, because Lod, he's shut down by wards. Because what ended up happening yesterday was Keen just roamed all over him, and he couldn't make the same types of plays. And every time he roamed, he'd walk over a ward, and then it would end up being, hey, look at that. We ended up wasting our time, and we got our turret shoved in.
And ultimately that was the case. So LoLPro unable to make their own plays around the map. Just the one good dragon move, but otherwise mostly treading water. Top lane getting a little bit worse actually over time. A 14 minion lead now for Rux. Zig and Patoy going to get themselves back to the base, but I want to see what happens when this map opens up a little bit more. LoLPro heavily stymied by the double Sightstone. Haven't time yet to be able to make a move.
Yeah, you can see the 4 sweepers already on LoLPro 10 minutes into the game. They need to deny some of this vision. More pink wards for area control. They already have some good ones down. River by Red Buff as well. And now Santorin making his way towards the bottom lane because he sees Heaven Time on the top. It's going to be a turret, and if they keep chasing MASH, they're going to run into Nunu.
They're going to try again. Good total of hits onto Signature, and now can they get the damage they need to kill him?
Oh,
what a beautiful bubble. Patoy can't ult him. That is 1 kill picked up. Patoy will revive, but he is certainly going to go down. No flash available. Oh, wait. Oh, I miscounted that. He does have flash, but Coast will chase him back down. Double kill to MASH, and suddenly Coast are crushing this game.
Now there's no flash down. Stop it, Freak. You're casting from the future.
I don't know how I saw those on cooldown.
It's predictions.
What happened to my head?
It's all right. Maybe the play just flashed before your eyes.
It was Zillion's fault.
It
I was casting from the future. I missed that the first time,
Look at this.
by the way.
Bod trying to get some of this fight.
This is not the right place to be. A 1 versus 3 has to flash away. Lod not exactly making the right choices here.
Yeah, he used both his summoner spells, too. He used his Ghost to get towards that fight.
Yeah, ulti, not exactly an important cooldown, though. We'll come back soon. Zig back to the bot lane, but this is going to be a very significant item lead now for MASH.
If he lands the spear.
Ooh, wow. Flash, I believe, was just used by Hanzo to get away a little bit. So you can see these lanes really breaking down fast. Golden Glue not trying to roam, but it's fine. He's getting pressure at the same time.
So this is the type of game that Coast wanted to play against Team 8, where their lanes, they're just like, we are better than you in individual skill, and our jungler roaming to keep pressure on in synergy with Golden Glue. But it didn't work out yesterday. They were up against a team that was lane swapping on them, that was making better teleport plays, and having better objective control in the mid game. LoLPro, they're going to have to rely on objective control here to end up beating Coast. They got the first dragon. Can they get the next one?
The problem is I haven't seen LoLPro yet play very well from behind. They are a stifling, crushing team when they are ahead. They can close games out in like 20 minutes flat, but LoLPro having a pretty hard time now that they are behind right now. Team Coast just able to completely dictate the pace. And I want to see if LoLPro even has what it takes to recover in the middle of the game, let alone in the middle of the series.
And here it is, the objective control. It is actually going to go over to Lod. Santorin a little late on the invade and the Sightstone placements. But they're going to set up for this dragon, which is in a minute.
It's always a good sign when your team sets up for a dragon a minute early. That is the right thing to have happening here. So Team Coast well in control still over this game.
Yeah, a lot of pink wards in LoLPro's inventory, so they are going to set up for it as well when they get the movements inside of that pit.
If they can. Coast are pushing every single lane up, and anyone who walks down is going to get collapsed on by a Nunu or a Lucian.
They're definitely trying to make it so that Coast gets this next dragon for themselves. LoLPro haven't made as aggressive of a move for it. Look, if you get the mid laner, that's perfect.
The play in the mid lane, the double knockup. Lod's going to go for Sheep, can't do enough damage. Easy pick up there in the mid lane. The ward control again paying off.
He had no summoner spells from the previous gank he tried to make down bottom, and that's going to be a turret for Coast, and they might possibly get the dragon off that play.
Now we're seeing MASH just shove the mid lane, and they got 20 seconds still till dragon comes up. Let's see what they try to grab for that one. Looks like just wave clear for now. 15 seconds on dragon, and you will not have Lod there in time. This should be very clean.
Yeah, this composition from LoLPro, the fact that there was a lane swap in it, there's a lot of delayed things here for them. And then they lost their second red buff on Santorin.
Wow, Patoy nearly goes down. Heaven Time maybe in the wrong spot as well. They're trying to run away. Flash force from Heaven Time. Does not dodge the Zig bomb. Has to take a Zillion ulti, but he is still going to be camped on. There's the minefield. Here's a whole bunch of damage. Heaven Time goes down to MASH, and looks like LoLPro wants the fight anyway. They chase in towards Santorin. The slow onto Rux. Can they do a bit more? Rune Prison on the beefiest tank on the roster. Why even bother? And Coast gets away clean.
They ended up killing the jungler. Is Coast going to make a move for this dragon? It's up, it's alive, but I think LoLPro will contest it.
Now, Coast are honestly playing a pretty safe but aggressive style. They're fairly risk-averse, but they're taking very strong advantages whenever that sort of presents itself. So they're taking some time. MASH is healing back up, buys some new items, and they can take the dragon whenever it's convenient.
Yeah, and here's the pressure. Rux trying to apply some to this red lot. Wrapping around the side, though.
That is a little over-aggressive. The Rux going to take a lot of damage. Good briefcase in the back. Flash used, but a couple more spells can kill him. One heal, knife, briefcase, and that will be Hanser grabbing the kill. Rux not fitting the mold there. Now Golden Glue rooted up. Some decent damage through. Briefcase flashed away from. There is Dragon going down by Coast, but Rux did not need to die there.
That was the distraction by Rux in that top lane. Meanwhile, we had Santorin, Sheep, and MashMe all doing that Dragon. And that's going to be the first objective in, I think, 3 games for Coast.
And they finally got themselves on the board on Dragons here, and they're up 4,000 gold as a partial result from this one. 3 turrets up as well. They've only given up 1 kill and 1 dragon all game. Now a TP play being made there. This is going to be rough for Lot. Great bubble, and in comes Rux as well. The culling, the Zig Zulti, Golden Glue grabs the kill. Now 6-1, and Coaster crushing this game.
And he gets his blue back. Rux going after Hanser.
Hanser now down to 1/4 health. No ulti available. Patoy is around, does not have his ulti, and Rux for the second time overextends and gives up the kill.
Rux, he's going to have to reel it in a little bit because the rest of his team, we see 3 kills on both Golden Glue and Mash. They are in a position to start running away with this game, especially since the lane opponent that they have, Ryze, takes a long time to skill up. Golden Glue can siege at this point in the game. And Mash, it's Lucian versus Corki.
Yeah.
They mirror each other pretty hard, but look at Mash's build. He's gone for Brutalizer into a BF sword.
Yep.
He's not going for the Trinity Force at all. He's going for just straight damage and some cooldown reduction for mobility.
Yeah, it seems to be the new build, really. I like it a lot, actually. But let's watch this fight first. Slot dying.
Yeah, no flash available to him. Rux with the TP in. Lot had no possible escape route there, but Rux overextends. He continues to go after Hanser. And the good thing here is Patoy, he actually puts down the exhaust, and that stops that last burst of damage from the Fog of War.
So yeah, the Lucian build I really like. I haven't seen it until NA playoffs today from the LCS teams here, TSM and Dignitas. But I like the fact that you get 25 CDR really early on, so you're getting those resets very frequently, and you're basically stacking AD. It's basically the better version of old Trinity Force Lucian, where you're really caster-based, but you scale so darn well because you're really not investing that heavily outside of a regular high DPS crit build.
And then we ended up seeing the selling of the Yuma's Ghostblade in late game for the Trinity Force, I believe.
That one I wouldn't respect, but I actually forget what happened in the endgame builds there. But even Yomu's is actually pretty stat efficient as like a crit item, so it has like pretty good legs under it. But I would do like a Last Whisper, Yomu's upgrade, things like that as the next few items. Have to see what Mash goes for. Honestly, the game might not even take that long. 4,000 gold lead, 18 minutes in. Coast have just continued to take very strong, measured leads here throughout this game. Mid lane now under fire, and they've got the inside track. Laud and Signature now stuck on the wrong side of this wall. If Coast want to sit up for this one, they can easily push LoLPro away. I feel like they're baiting them into that alcove just to kill him.
Well, here's the thing, is Hanser has his teleport available. Rux does not, and they're all trying to just get in towards this turret. But look at that, Coast with good positioning, just keep LoLPro off on the right side and zone them.
Yeah, exactly. Another satchel charge there, another Q onto Lot, very low health on Ryze, he can't fight anymore, and the easy minefield to retreat away. That turret nearly dead. Team Coast so far playing very well. Hanser can't make his way in either.
It's this mid-game sieging of Ziggs. He has one item completed as the needlessly large rod, and the fact that it's the Athenians, he can just keep throwing those bombs out. He got a blue buff from his Mega Inferno bomb last time, and now he's able to continue to just apply turret pressure and zone LoLPro off of these objectives.
Title. Oh, that would have been the sickest steal I'd seen all day. Not quite there for Sheep, though.
He's still going to go for it.
Doesn't get the bubble, though. Also, what I like about this Coast Siege is the fact that it's very easy for them to branch off to the sides and just put wards down. Like when they retreated through that Wraith Brush, they just got to put a whole bunch of wards around the red buff area and continue their amazing vision dominance here.
20 minutes in, and it's going to be a 5K, 4K gold lead.
5K now, 4th third of the game.
It's in between the two.
If you round, I'm right.
Yeah. Some people round down, some people are pessimists. I guess optimists, that'd be optimistic depending.
Yeah, true. If you're LoLPro, you round down to 4K here. Honestly, they do have the chance of going in, though. Keep in mind, Ryze is still an incredibly strong champion. Corki can always make the big plays, and you have still a Mundo with a Zillion, and it's a 1-0-1 Mundo from Hanser, who's got decent CS there. That can be a very hard champion to kill when your DPS only comes from Mash. You're otherwise almost entirely burst-based.
Yeah, Mash would be...
The saving grace, though, is Primal Surge and Blood Boil will give him a whole crap ton of attack speed. So if he does go for a crit armor pen build, he will get a whole bunch of damage down to that Mundo. I just wonder if it's enough to actually break down Hanser.
And if he gets himself a Blade of the Ruined King,
that'd be amazing.
It would be a really, really efficient build.
Yes. We'll see what happens right here.
He is going to have to deal with the Ryze as well.
Yeah. Ryze is a little bit less health based. He's got some, but yeah, he is the guy who has to deal with these very beefy, high persistent damage dealing champions, and it's going to be a test here if Hanser and Laud do get to keep scaling.
Rux has not completely taken over this top lane, though, against Hanser. Hanser actually has a level advantage over him at the moment.
Wow, yeah.
But they haven't been using the teleport from Hanser and the team fight of the Mundo yet. He's kind of been running into the fights as they're ending.
So this could be a close one, though. Hanser, though, in a battle with Rux, he's trying to regen enough in time, but the execute damage could be all he needs. Cleaver, yeah, there we go. Gonna flash away from that javelin. That would have been Rux winning the fight, but now Hanser got the giant health lead. Rux is running low on mana. And
a little extra burst he would have gotten from landing that javelin would have put him over the edge and would have been able to take Hanser out. Little bonuses from on behind.
Yeah. Well, flashes down there for Hanser for another 4.5 minutes. Looks like LoLPro wants to go in this one. The Rune Prison hits up on a sheep. Big damage, forcing the flash away. Now Santorin in the front lines, and in comes the flash from Nidalee. Now Mundo as well. A lot of half health. Satchar hits as well. Not quite the javelin. Hanser now in the front line. He wants Rux, who's forced to run away. Mash dealing plenty of damage. The ulti was down from Mundo, and it's a 1-for-0 so far. Lod gonna catch the Zilean ultimate. Mash gonna force him to revive. And now can they get the rise of the respawn? Beautiful bubble from Sheep, and that is a 2-for-0.
Look at how perfectly Coast played that fight, just weaving in and out. And actually the flash from Sheep to the right was the best flash. Usually you want to flash to the left, but it would have been into the Corki. They're going to go straight for a dragon off of this, and that's going to be their second objective of the game, just accelerating their gold lead to about 7,000.
And it's now more of the same for Coast. They're always in the right place at the right time. They have not let any openings show against LoLPro, and they're just repeatedly taking the smart objectives and growing the lead.
And watch here, you'll see Sheep. He actually uses his tidal wave, and he would have flashed to the left into Signature's line of fire. He flashes to the right and ends up getting out alive. And the reinforcement here from Rux and from Hanser is exactly what the doctor ordered, but Hanser a little too far and deep into the fight, while the health bars from the Mega Infernal Bomb took Heaventime and Laud too low to continue that fight. They have to stay on the outskirts and poke, and the bubble. Sheep really played the best way he possibly could have that fight.
Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. He did a very good job for himself. I always love the players who can time the respawns off of Zilean ultis or Zhonya's or GAs properly, because it's all by feel. No, I don't know of any player who actually counts the head goes 1, 1,000, 2, 1, bubble.
That's animation and feel.
It's now. And then it's always so amazing when it happens.
Well, the thing is, too, is when you're playing on a stage, you're really nervous, and sometimes you jump the gun.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that so many times. By just being excited and be like, nah, oh, crap. You look so dumb.
For a second, I thought it was just a side statement, like, you just look dumb today.
Oh, yeah, you? Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, look, you brought it up. I was going to let it go.
I know. It was just like, what? Oh, no. You look dumb when you... Yeah, I gotcha.
When you miss bubbles.
Yep.
You specifically, though.
Yeah. Oh. If I played Nami, I'm missing all the bubbles.
That's true. But right now, though, Coast are not missing any bubbles here. They're looking very good in Game 1 of potentially 5. LCS promotion tournament on the line. Only 24 minutes in, and they are up 4 times the kills. 4-0 in turrets and 7,000 gold. Now Blue Buff going to be stolen away probably cleanly here. Santorin going to make that happen. No W going to work there.
Now, the early Sightstone has definitely been paying off for them and accelerating them into this mid-game here. Look at this Rux. He got the on the hunt this time.
And that is some real damage right there. Rux going for the offensive build, going for Ruin Kick on top of the Trinity Force. And Hanser just can't tank through right now. He got a lot of magic resist, but he's already getting chunked down by the Triforce damage. Now bot lane tier 2 goes as well. 5-0 in turrets. Wave clear. Very easy for Mash, and more going down.
And they're going to go straight after this turret. Tidal Wave coming through for some zone.
And forces the flash away. Now Lod going to lose a lot of health. Does get revived. Bubble comes in, but it's still a lot of damage coming through and a lot of time wasted from LoLPro. Heaventime wants to go back in, but Rux taking down top lane turret.
Signatures poking down the mid.
Well, pretty worth the trade, though, for Team Coast. Looks like they can take top lane tier 2.
And they're forward on
the bot lane. The crits come out for Mash, and that is a dominating Lucian now. Jumps on forward, flashes, Patoy goes as well. This split push from Corki not going to do nearly enough, and Coast looking to crush this game already 25 minutes in.
Mash prayed to RNGesus before that.
Yep.
Because, oh my lord, he crit back to back to back there. Very aggressive Lucian, and you saw the cooldown reduction helping him out with the multiple dashes he got in that fight to close the distance.
A lot of spells coming out, getting a lot of bonus attacks because of it. And you're seeing now top lane inhibitor. Rux just has not been stopped since he killed Hanser last time. It's the same guy here to defend, but it's not going to be much. Coast now 7 turrets 2-1 in this game. It is just getting blown wide open.
And you brought it up before, LoLPro, they play fantastically when they have a lead at the 20-minute mark.
Yeah.
But if they don't have that type of lead, they kind of just implode and collapse. They don't know what to do with themselves around that mid-game if they're behind.
Yeah, so life is good now for Team Coast. And LoLPro's got to figure out how they do come back against a team like this, because I feel like a large portion of this just came from the laning phase.
Yeah.
Just the fact that Santorin did more than Heaven Time. Like, the actual 1-on-1, 2-on-2 matchups were okay for LoLPro, but they got tipped so easily by rotations, so easy by moves. There is another kill picked up, a great pick-off there. Two sight stones versus one, and you can see what that means.
Exactly. It's the vision control here for Coast that is giving them these advantages. And you talked about Santorin, the invades, the pressure, the fact they killed the jungler very early on around the 8-minute mark and just kept Heaven Time down. They're actually going to look for a pick here. They have all this vision. Heaven Time, is he going to check?
Walked way too far forward. His W could have revealed that is an easy pick-off. Now Team Coast should be in complete control. Mash going to zone out the team signature, pushed away. And I don't see LoLPro stopping this one anytime soon.
No, it doesn't look like it at all. Coast, they're looking back to form. You know, I talked to some of them, and they were saying, you know, we just had a bad day yesterday, and in order to be the best, you have to play the best 24/7. And they were like, we played the best 24/6.
Yeah, and unfortunately that day was not good for them, but at least a turret goes for LoLPro here. Team Coast, though, looking so good in game one. The flash engage, two-man bubble, big damage from Mash. In comes Ruck as well. The AD carry goes down. No, Hanser is being chased out. Lot low on HP. Mash wants this fight, but a mid lane rise does some decent damage. Not gonna be enough though. Mash gets the kill. No, Hanser being chased down. He will revive, but do they even care? No, they're gonna wait out the Zillion ultimate. Now they will get the execute. Rux gets credit 2, 2, and 5, and this is gonna be a pretty darn clean game from Coast.
Yeah, Sheep has been looking on point this game all game long with his bubbles, his pressure is Nami, and his positioning and location during team fights. He is a very squishy target. He's very, like, he's got a target on his back. Everybody wants to go after him. He's not letting it happen. 0 deaths this game, and Mash just knows when to go aggressive and knows when to back up.
I mean, it's really just a perfect score from basically everybody on this team. Rux, a little over-aggressive, but the split pushing, he's doing his job. Otherwise, 0 deaths on everybody else from Team Coast. Perfect score on the jungler with 0 kills, perfect for the support as well. And this fight, again, it's just LoLPro getting caught out by Sheep being amazing.
Yep, clears out the way with the Mega Inferno Bomb, so the turret aggro starts. But then this bubble hitting 2, and then Mash all of his spells right across that area of effect. Decides to go after Laud here, and he doesn't get any big crits, but he gets 2 back-to-back off a Light Slinger, and he's ready to go.
Yep. And this is just nice. They know it's going to time out soon. You can click on him, see the remaining duration. Rux for the credit, because why not?
He's probably one of the least fed members on the team at the moment.
That's true. But he held down Hanser the whole time. We've really not seen the Mundo get to do too much. Very few advantages have been found for LoLPro here in Team Coast. Looking like that team that won Summer 1 and Summer 2 so darn cleanly.
Yeah, they just didn't show up yesterday. Everybody was shocked. I think even Team 8 was shocked when they ended up winning that series off of team fights and objective control. Because Coast's pick and ban phase was not good. Like, just flat out, it was really bad. Today, they come back, and Santorin's like, I'm going to redeem myself on Nunu. Sheep is like, I'm going to redeem myself on support, because he played a Zillion game, and it was one of the worst games I've seen Sheep ever play. And Golden Glue, he's going to go play the Ziggs instead of the Orianna Syndra that he had, which his Syndra play didn't get the picks he wanted, didn't get the QE combos. He's going to go play this wave clear champion, and they are just playing perfectly this game. Yeah,
and right now I like this style from Coast, though. They're playing these fairly safe champions that are good at a lot of different ways, and they're sort of relying on team fight power to cement their leads. And otherwise saying, Santorin, just get us control over the map. We're going to make the plays whenever they're available. Pretty aggressive control over the lanes, pretty aggressive fights for turrets and dragons, and it's a great way to play.
And none of these champions have weak laning phases either.
True.
So
they're all good lanes.
Coast ended up winning all of the lanes very early on, and they're going to transition it into this late game. And look at this, the turret goes down, and they're ready for this
hard engage.
Fight.
Zig is going to go down. Laud might revive, but he's so low on health anyway. Who even cares? Nice long-range javelin to make him go back in place. 1 for 0 so far. Laud nearly going down. Top lane inhibitor is available. Mid lane, they're just inside the base at this point. Coast could close the game out off of this push right now.
Yeah, they're taking the inhibitor. There's going to have a minion wave in just a second here. Super super minions on the Nexus turrets.
Do they really need it though? Rux is getting healed up. He's just fine. Haun's getting knocked around. The ulti will end pretty soon. The engage comes across. They can't quite get him. Lot might just go down. A great tidal wave, and Mash claims another one. No Heaven Time's right there in the mix. Going to stealth back into the fountain, but Coast now have just laid waste to the base. This will be the second Nexus turret going down. 19-2 in 31 minutes, and was there ever a glimmer of hope for LoLPro in that game?
Not really.
Nope.
At the first, Dragon was really where there was a little bit of a sign of life, but then they got first blooded and then just completely turned around, equalized, and Coast ran away with the lanes and played a great game from there on out.
That was the Coast we expected to see so far in the Challenger playoffs. They did show up to play the day. Looks like they turned around their fates from yesterday, because darn did they look just sloppy in their game 2 against Team 8. But the night was all they needed. That's the Team Coast we know.
Yeah, not a lot of damage dealt on this entire team here. We saw the siege from Coast.
Yep.
They kind of just got a hold of the game and ran away with it, whereas the highest damage dealing member on the side of LoLPro is actually Haunter in the top lane.
Yeah.
Mundo.
Trying to burn people down. I mean, and I guess just because he's brawling the top lane the whole time, he's just getting thousands of damage against Nidalee the whole time, and that's the only damage you're really getting out of a team that's not very good. Only 2 kills the entire game. That was only Rux overextending twice. Both kills, both deaths, kind of foolish. You know, one time he went for a red buff, even though he knew he had no backup. His team was taking Dragon. Didn't need to be there. Second kill, very similar situation, just being caught out too far. Otherwise, every single member on Coast, I thought, played exactly what they needed to do.
Yeah, they definitely, like Santorin, his contribution to the fight was kind of blood boil. I'll smack somebody, but he played Nunu perfectly because he didn't have to play in the fights too much, because he played before the fights and after the fights. Gets Dragon, gets objectives, sets up the vision they need to pull off the right positioning.
Yeah, and honestly, he was just the big front line that group needed. They got ahead early on. Right, again, a 31-minute game means none of that late game scaling, none of that crazy powerful rise, none of that crazy unkillable Mundo is going to show up there. It's control the lanes. By the way, Blood Boil, even at just rank 1 Blood Boil on an early game, brutalizer type build on Illusion means you've got the scariest AD carry in the map. You've got a Ziggs that's going to spike on 2 items and be plenty powerful there, and they just closed it with an early team.
Yeah, and I really like that they picked champions that had some scaling from mid-game, but also their early game wasn't bad in lane. They picked the Lucian Bully, they picked the Ziggs, who can wave clear really easily and not get bullied around, and they picked the Nidalee in the top lane, which a champion select was left up. It had been banned against them previously a lot.
Yeah, so just overall beautiful stuff there. Great game.